Listen up, 12s, because everything we thought we knew about our legendary quarterback just changed in an instant. A massive bombshell dropped regarding a franchise icon that has the entire league buzzing. And honestly, it feels like the end of an era for all of us. Is he really stepping away from the gridiron for good to head to the broadcast booth? The signs are all pointing toward a major life transition that no one saw coming this fast. You need to hear exactly what he said about our city. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Russell Wilson, the iconic quarterback who defined an era for the Seahawks, has signaled his departure from the professional game as he transitions into a broadcasting career with CBS Sports. At 37 years old, Wilson released a video reflecting on his remarkable 14-year journey, expressing deep gratitude for his time in the NFL. While the announcement does not use the specific word retirement, the sentiment is clear as he focuses on his next chapter as an analyst. This move marks the conclusion of a career that saw him become a defining figure for the Seattle franchise. Wilson specifically acknowledged Pete Carroll for his initial belief in him, referencing the doubts he faced regarding his height as a young prospect from Virginia. The quarterback noted that it was this opportunity that set the stage for his development in the Pacific Northwest. Throughout his time in Seattle, the connection between the player and the community was forged through high-stakes victories and a shared commitment to the city. By choosing this path, Wilson is set to replace Matt Ryan on the CBS Sports team, following Ryan's decision to join the Atlanta Falcons front office. This transition effectively closes the door on a potential return to the field, even after he had the opportunity to serve as a backup for the New York Giants this season. Fans who supported him throughout his highs and lows are now reflecting on a legacy that spanned over a decade, highlighting the gratitude Wilson feels for the brotherhood he shared with his teammates throughout his storied professional tenure in the league. The significance of Russell Wilson's tenure with the Seahawks cannot be overstated, as his statistical contributions remain unmatched in team history. During his 10 seasons in Seattle, the former third-round pick from 2012 established himself as the franchise's all-time leader with 37,059 passing yards and 292 passing touchdowns. Beyond the raw numbers, his on-field impact was recognized with 9 Pro Bowl selections and a second-team All-Pro honor in 2019. For many followers, his time with the team is synonymous with the franchise's most successful stretch, including consecutive appearances in Super Bowl XLVIII and Super Bowl XL9. The victory over the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl XLVIII remains a crowning achievement, solidifying his place in the organization's annals. Reflecting on these years, Wilson explicitly mentioned the bond he formed with the fans and the city that raised him during his formative years in the NFL. He emphasized that the memories went beyond the scoreboard or the famously loud atmosphere of the stadium. His work with the Seattle Children's Hospital was highlighted as a core component of his time in the region, noting that the interaction with the children provided him with a sense of hope and perspective that transcended football. As he steps into the broadcast booth, these memories serve as the foundation of his retrospective message to the city. While his later career took him through Denver, Pittsburgh, and New York, the core of his professional identity remains anchored in those 10 seasons in Seattle, where he proved that his stature would never limit his ability to perform at the highest possible level. Why does this matter right now for the Seahawks and the landscape of the NFL? This development signifies the formal end of a decade-long era that changed the identity of the franchise. For the current organization, Wilson's transition to CBS Sports highlights the finality of a journey that began with a gamble on a young, overlooked talent and evolved into a championship run. With Wilson opting for the television role instead of pursuing a backup position behind Geno Smith with the New York Giants, the league loses one of its most recognizable figures of the 2010s. This move serves as a reminder of how quickly the roster dynamics shift as veterans reach the conclusion of their playing days. The impact of his departure is felt not just in the records he leaves behind, but in the closure it brings to the legacy of the Seahawks' winning years under Pete Carroll. In the context of his career path, opting for an analyst role instead of continuing to suit up as a backup reflects a strategic decision to leave the game while on his own terms. For the fans who spent years chanting "Go Hawks" during his highlight-filled tenure, this announcement provides a moment to finalize the narrative of a career that saw him become the face of a city. The shift from the gridiron to the broadcast desk is a common trajectory for legendary players, yet it marks a distinct cultural shift for those who watched him grow from a rookie into a franchise pillar. His legacy is now firmly secured as part of the team's history rather than its active future. As Russell Wilson prepares for his role at CBS Sports, the implications of his exit from the active player pool ripple through the league's broadcast landscape. By stepping into the seat vacated by Matt Ryan, who moved into an executive role with the Atlanta Falcons, Wilson maintains his connection to the sport through a different medium. This shift illustrates the transition that many elite players face as they evaluate their options beyond the locker room. Wilson's message to his former teammates was central to his video, as he thanked them for their sacrifices and the brotherhood they built over 14 years. He spoke directly to the shared memories that were only possible through their collective effort. This focus on the human element of the game remains consistent with how he operated during his peak years in the NFL. Despite the various jerseys he wore after his time in Seattle, his appreciation for his original organization was the focal point of his goodbye. The announcement serves as a retrospective of a 14-year career that weathered numerous changes, including a trade to the Denver Broncos in 2022 and subsequent stops with the Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Giants. Even as he had the chance to stay in the game as a backup for the Giants this season, the pull of a new professional challenge as an analyst proved to be the more compelling path. This decision brings a sense of finality to the debate regarding his playing future as he shifts his focus toward breaking down the game from the analyst's chair, replacing the tactical preparation of a quarterback with the analytical duties of a media professional. The retirement-themed message shared by Russell Wilson acts as a final chapter for a career that left an indelible mark on the Seattle Seahawks. By focusing on his growth from a rookie who was told he was too small to be a successful NFL quarterback to a multi-time Pro Bowler, he highlights a narrative of perseverance. His emphasis on the personal connections he made, both in the locker room and at the Seattle Children's Hospital, frames his career as more than just a list of passing records or Super Bowl appearances. The organization is now left to reflect on a legacy that included 292 passing touchdowns and a decade of sustained high-level competition. As he enters the media space, the transition marks the end of an era for the Seahawks faithful who followed his every move. Wilson's acknowledgement of his supporters, through the highs and the lows, serves as a capstone for his professional journey. While he will no longer be lining up under center, his influence on the team's history is cemented. The decision to accept the job with CBS Sports allows him to remain part of the football world while closing the chapter on his own playing days. The fans who witnessed the peak of his career are now witnessing his graceful exit from the field. As he prepares to provide analysis from the booth, the focus remains on the immense impact he had during his 10 years in the Pacific Northwest. The story of the young kid from Richmond is now a complete volume, with the former Seahawks star moving into a role that will allow him to share his perspective on the game he played for over a decade.